Welcome to Plan C for my day today. How's your day going? Good morning, love. I had a defined plan for today, and I got done with all of my chores that I needed to do before I took off. And then I got to my destination, and it was defiantly closed. Defiantly closed. The ironic thing is, I saw that there's a luncheon planned there today. So I wasn't planning to go to the luncheon or anything. I just wanted to go to the place. So instead, I walked adjacent to it, much like we used to do when I was a kid. With 6 kids, we barely got to go into places. We more hung out around places, so we didn't have to pay for admission for 8 people. I found another place to go, a place that I've wanted to go to for years, and they're not open yet. So I decided to invest my time, spend my time taking a walk on the McDade Trail, and that's what I'm doing now. And as I'm walking along, I'm on a little break right now, but as I was walking around, I realized again how when we stop to pay attention and listen for an intuitive call to do something or to experience something, things inevitably turn out in surprisingly wonderful ways. The thing is, we have to be alert to that. We have to agree that when roadblocks show up, that we can be the one that steers around it. I like to say it like this. I say, my goal, my vision, my ideas, my plan, my hopes, my dreams, physical health, my mental health is bigger than whatever bump in the road appears, whether it be some places closed or things are different than you expect or they're not accessible to you or whatever. You get to decide in that moment how you're going to respond. When the sky and the trees and this looks like hay is here, it all looks so monochromatic and dull. It made me feel kind of bummed out. If I let it. See, that's the important thing. If I let it. Even the fungus on this fallen tree that I'm sitting on. You see all this fungus here? And see it's still attached to the tree? I have a fungal disease. When I talk about my near-death experience, it happened because I inhaled fungus from the soil in Central California that can be lethal. It isn't always lethal, but in my case, it went into my body and things just went haywire. And because of that, I'm almost not here, but I am here. I am here, which is why I don't often focus on that story. I like to focus on the after, the what's now. And perhaps it's because that fungus that lives in my body still, and the joy that I feel anyway, is really a gift. And I listen for those gifts every day. So the place that I was going to not being accessible is leading me to another place. It's leading me to right here. And if the place that I wanted to go, the plan B, was open, I wouldn't have been able to come here. We would not have been able to have this chat. And I think this chat's important. I think you are important. And I figure the reason why we're having this exact chat is because one of you will feel inspiration or feel heard or seen from the words that I'm saying. That feels good. So, how are you going to respond today? How will today, tomorrow, the next day be different when you show up and things don't appear to be going away at all? Someplace I read, I can't quote who said this, but it's like when we look at the world where things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And when I was first walking, it looked so bleak in here when the sun was not out and when the trees with here, we'll flip it so you can see what I'm talking about. It's not the world's most scenic right now, but I've been here in the spring and summer when the leaves start coming out, and it's really quite beautiful. My first spring that I lived here, I said to my coworkers, is there any special place you need to go to here to see the fireflies? They looked at me like I was completely insane. I'm not insane, I'm just a Californian. And I realized as I'm sitting out here with all of these leaves that are sitting here in these grasses, this will be a great spot for fireflies when it's their time to rise up. That's exciting to know. Yes! We made it! We finally made it to the Columns Museum in Milford, Pennsylvania. At first glance, this looks like a beautiful small-town museum filled with local history, probably, and carefully preserved memories from other eras. But tucked inside this quiet museum is one of the most extraordinary Abraham Lincoln artifacts in the United States. This is a 36-star American flag that hung inside Ford's Theater on the night President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 14, 1865. We will get to more of the story at the end of the video, but it is truly a fascinating bit of Milford history. Another bit of Milford history that I used to hear about when I went camping there as a little girl was about a guy named Tom Quick. Turns out Tom Quick was really not a hero at all. In fact, he was known for being a killer of Lenape people. The museum took care to get two different perspectives on the Tom Quick story in order to share that story at all. They actually took down the memorial that was once on the streets in Milford. It looked like this tower right there. It's no longer there, but a bit of it is, just the bottom stump, which I think was a decent compromise. The museum itself is a beautiful home. It was originally built by Dennis McLaughlin, an Irish immigrant who became very successful in Jersey city politics, of all things. This grand neoclassical mansion was designed by architect Charles Fall and completed in 1904. It became McLaughlin's little house in the country. The room that holds the Lincoln flag also has quite a bit of Civil War history inside as well. Once you get upstairs and onto the second floor, you get quite a bit more of what would be expected in a small town museum. Everything is carefully preserved, including these beautiful stained glass windows, and you can see marvels from the city's history. Important people, important places, some of which are no longer there, remarkable collections, and it's all kept, as you can see, in this very homey atmosphere that makes a person feel the desire to go from room to room, reading everything and looking at what is there on the shelves. In a way, it reminds me a little bit of the Route 66 Museum in Barstow, if you were with us for that cross-country trip that I took. It's lots of things that people came in and donated, things from people's homes, their collections, from businesses. And I had a really fun time wandering through the building. I especially love looking at the clothes. Since I also love the architecture of the period, this made me happy. Lots of military things. It's kind of similar to what you might see in your history books. And here we have some information about radio and newspapers and a little bit of tourism. Look at there's bicycles, just what you might expect to see in Pike County, where Milford is, back in the late 19th and early 20th century. What's not to love about this desk? I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm salivating. I would love to have a desk like that. And look at the radiator. It's funny. We all had these radiators when I was a kid, but now... and look at that dial phone. Oh my gosh, it's a relic from the past. Someone once played the trumpet and that trombone. It's not a trombone, I'm not sure what that is, but the Erie Band was obviously a very proud group of people sharing their music, and 40 cents for lunch. Can you believe that? I can't even think about having a lunch for 40 cents. Maybe peanut butter sandwich at home, maybe? Is that 40 cents? I'm not sure. The stage manager at the Ford Theater was named Thomas Gourlay. And in all of the chaos that happened after Lincoln was shot, Gourlay took the flag from the museum and brought it over to the Peterson House, where Lincoln was fighting for his life. The flag was reportedly used as a pillow and put under Lincoln's head as the doctors tried to bring him back to life. Gourlay ended up taking the flag home, and after he left Ford's Theater, he kept the flag and passed it down to his family for decades. The Gourlay family eventually, in 1954, gave the flag back to the Pike County Historical Society. The Smithsonian built that display case, and the blood has been authenticated as Lincoln's himself. So this modest museum gets many visitors from people wanting to see the flag, probably not quite believing at first that Abraham Lincoln's flag with his blood on it somehow got here in rural Pennsylvania. But like I said, it was authenticated. It really was the blood, and it really was Gourlay that saved it all these years.